What happens if you decide, okay, you got the domain, but then maybe you didn't start the business immediately, and maybe you weren't able to sell the domain name immediately or for the price that you wanted? Because remember,
this video is brought to you by Appy Pie Academy.
you don't have to sell the domain name immediately. You have a whole year before you have to renew it. And so selling it quickly for a cheap price, that's fine, totally fine, because then you can use that money to buy more domain names. But you have a whole year to wait. So there's an option for you, because if you wait, you can get somebody to buy at double or triple the price or quadruple the price if you wait. So then you have this option of domain parking. Now, domain parking, let me explain first what it is. It's basically, have you seen those, sometimes you click on a site, you go to a URL, you mistype it, and there's nothing but little ads, and it says, the domain works, but there's nothing but ads there. And it's just kind of like an empty website, that's it. It's a parked domain. And what happens is the owner of the domain gets paid when somebody clicks on those ads. It's very rare, but you get paid a little bit of money while you kind of get paid to wait for somebody to buy your URL for a more expensive price. Now let me give you the pros and cons of doing this. It's a little time consuming to set it up, but if you're going to do this domain selling business, if you're going to pursue it, why not give it a try? You're not going to earn a lot of money per domain unless it's something that's really commonly mistyped, but you're going to earn a tiny bit, so why not? It's a little bit like if you put your money in the bank and they give you 1%. It's kind of like that here. So it's a little bit of an investment. It's a way to recoup your money without selling the domain and giving yourself it starts to make sense to wait a little bit more. You're not so much under pressure to sell your domain immediately. And to start a bit now that's just to get your money back a little bit. To start a real business selling parking domains, now that requires an investment into a lot of domains, and domains that are not particularly good as a future business, but are something that's usually like a misspelled domain. Like if you get Facebook or Facebook or something, or Facebook's, obviously Facebook has already bought those domains probably, I haven't checked, but I'm sure they did. But something like that, where it's a popular thing that gets commonly misspelled, somebody's name, a common thing, like, so like Donald Trump, and what are the common letters? You can look at the keyboard, and you can look at the letters that are adjacent to the letters in that name. So there's about 10 or 12 letters in this name, and you can look at the letters that are adjacent on the keyboard, and those are the ones that are like commonly misspelled. And so, for example, that would be a good strategy for buying domains that you would invest in as a parked domain. But the park domain requires you to get a lot of domains because they each earn a little bit, so they'll only make a lot of money if you get a lot of them. But in this course, we're just really concerned with getting good ones and selling them, or really just having a business on top of it. So I'm not going to get too deep into domain parking, but now you understand the pros and cons of domain parking.